think it's really important to think about how much capital you want to raise. And very often people talk about milestones and the value that they're trying to create. And what you want to build is a plan that funds getting to those milestones. How long will it take for you to prove that you've got product market fit, a somewhat scalable go-to-market motion, and unit economics that makes sense? And if you look at how long it's going to take you to prove milestones like that, you start to think about the timeline. Over time, what will we prove by when? How does that map to the value that we're creating as a company? And then just looking at over that period of time, how much capital does my company need to exist? And the timeline means that you're going to have to hire people. You're going to have to spend capital. You're going to have to host your product somewhere. Build out a financial plan. Understand how much that timeline is going to cost to prove out those milestones. And that will tell you how much capital you need to raise. At the early stage, when you're first getting started, cash is your lifeline. Many of you already know this. You can bootstrap or you've raised capital from investors. Regardless, you need to manage it prudently. I remember when I first took a CFO role, I had my team pull together a daily cash analysis to let me know how much capital I had in the bank at all points in time. And having knowledge of that cash is one thing, but then understanding how much runway that buys you is really important. And so I would review my execution against my milestones on a monthly basis and then think about, do I really have the cash I need to get to the place I need to be before I can raise additional capital? I think it's really smart for founders to raise a little bit of cushion, have 4 to 6 months of cash runway beyond when they think they're going to need to raise capital again. Fundraising processes can take varying lengths of time, but it generally takes about 4 to 6 months to raise capital, get out in front of investors, develop relationships, have partner meetings, get term sheets, and really land on the next financing. And you want to make sure you have the capital to go through that process as well. That cushion gives you the chance to have things go wrong for a little while and burn a little more cash than you need. What you don't want to do is go into a financing being up against the wall. I think that that's a very bad position to be in. You want to be able to raise capital while still having capital in the bank and not be desperate. I think the best way to communicate how much capital you need to raise is really to do a detailed analysis. Bring data. Let us know what you're trying to accomplish. Let us know the means with which you're going to accomplish that, whether it's people or, bringing on a new technology in your stack and the cost to develop that. Let us know how you're thinking about funding the strategic business plan, and then you just back into the amount of capital that you want to raise. If you bring data, it makes everyone's lives easier. At the earliest stage, really what we're looking for are customer-driven metrics, feedback from customers. We're looking at revenue traction, things like churn. We're looking at sales cycles, how they're getting shorter or longer. Whatever it is, make sure that you have the right data and bring the right context around the data about what you've done internally to sort of drive the outcomes that you're showing your investors and your team. And that way we can all analyze it together. There are no right answers for what data you bring for certain problems, but to the extent that you can bring longitudinal data that's descriptive and provides context, it helps with the analysis. When it comes to how much capital you should raise, think of first principles. Why do you exist? What value markers do you need to create and milestones along your journey? And make sure you have enough cash in the bank to be able to fund that.